Pat Cummins here ahead of the second test here in Adelaide starting tomorrow afternoon. Raise your hand if you've got a question. I doubt very much we're going to get to everyone who has a question, so apologies for that in advance, but we'll do our best. So we'll start off with Mr. Law.
Got a team for us, Patrick? And if not, what's holding it up?
Double barrel. Yes, we do. Scotty Boland in for Hazlewood, only change.
Thank you.
But just the reaction from around the country over the last 10 days or so. You've been Test captain for 3 years. Do you believe that every Australian team, there is a way that they should play? I mean, not just in terms of batting and bowling, but how you carry yourself, or is it just about winning and losing?
I don't really know about a certain Australian way. I think, I always try and work out what I think is best for, our guys, what's going to play to their strengths. And then, of course, you've got some responsibility to play a certain way, within, hopefully a style that the fans are liking and kids are wanting to tune in for. But, no, we don't tend to look too far in the past or forward. It's more about who's our 11 players, try and play to their strengths.
Ollie?
Mitch Marsh hasn't bowled in the nets this week. Are you expecting to bowl in the match?
Yep. Made the call with the medical team over the last couple of days, just give him another couple of days off bowling. But, expect him to warm up and, if required, will bowl. And, I'm guessing probably will be required at some point.
Hi, Pat. Just the recent statement of Michael Clark about Virat Kohli, that Virat Kohli scoring century in the first test match is more scary. And considering his record in Adelaide, your thoughts?
Honestly, don't really have too many thoughts on that. Sorry.
Thank you. Yes, sir?
Yeah. Pat, how difficult it is for you, there were multiple reports about there's divide in the dressing room. David Warner said a few things to Aaron Gilchrist's question, and then, there were multiple things about, Travis had said there's no division, but how do you see that, the whole statements and everything coming out, Josh Hazlewood saying a few things, how do you see that?
Look, the team's great. Some of the commentators got that 100% wrong. So team's great. We've prepared like we always do, get around each other. It's a great feeling around the team. We don't make too much of it.
How's Marnus sort of been tracking this week? Have you noticed anything different in him in the last few days?
He's training well like he always does, hitting millions of balls. I think it's pretty impossible to kind of dismiss or ignore some of the kind of commentary around perhaps being a little bit more proactive. So I think you've seen that side of it in the nets. I think, the challenge is always going out there and making sure you keep that mindset. But he's been great like he always is, always working on things, trying to plan, how he's going to score his 100 this test.
That you 1-0 down, it's obviously you don't want to think too far ahead, but it's enormous to come back from 2-0 down. How much pressure on the team is it to bounce back and level this series here in Adelaide?
I think any test match there's pressure. When you're down, there's that a little bit more, especially when you're at home. But we've been in similar situations, whether it's World Cups or other series where you're in must-win kind of situations. We're not quite there yet, but we love playing here. We love playing Australia. We know we weren't at our best last week. Got a few things to work on. This week's been great. Everyone's really focused on kind of ahead and excited for the challenge of the next 4 test matches. But everyone's got a lot of personal pride, professional pride. So, there's pressure on you anytime you play, even just from that, let alone the scoreboard being down 1-0.
This side has had a lot of success, but it's been a pretty extraordinary reaction to one test. Do you feel like there's almost a little bit of a desire to see this blow up or see this side fail?
Look, hard to say. I think, when things don't go right, there's enough commentators that will support you, but also some that will, of course, try and create some headlines, and it doesn't really... we try not to take too much notice of it. We just go about our things. We concentrate on, as I said, trying to play our own way, trying to give ourselves the best chance of winning games, and try not to get too caught up in anything else.
What about the fact that everyone talks about adjustment form might take a while to get used to, just even starting innings or a series or whatever. I think your batters will be better, obviously, for successful footing, but they'll be better for the run, as it were. And particularly something like that, it's obviously haven't faced him before.
Yeah, look, I hope there's some lessons learnt. The good thing is both batting and bowling, we've now had a look at them. They've had a look at us as well, but you get a look at some of the bowling plans that you want to implement, and same with the batters. They know how they're going to be attacked first up. So yeah, I'm sure. Well, I really hope everyone's going to learn a little bit, and we come back here and you're that slightly better prepared because you've had a look at what they're going to throw at us.
Yeah.
Pat, can you tell us what was actually wrong with Mitch Marsh? You said you expected to bowl, but so instead that he hasn't bowled in the nets at all, must be ups?
Not a huge concern. You probably need to speak to the physio, but it's back stiffness. I think I said last week it's kind of since the ODIs in England. I think he didn't bowl a couple of games over there, and he's been desperately trying to work on that for the last few months. So, yeah, I don't quite know, but he'll warm up tomorrow. Yeah, pretty confident that prioritise his overs for the games rather than kind of using up some of them in the nets.
But 135 overs in the second innings as well. So this break between matches, has it helped you also physically apart from the moment?
Yeah, absolutely. Any break in between test matches is welcome. It gives us a chance to, although we went home, you spend a few days in the gym, a few days recovery, and it's very rare after one test match you get that break. So it almost feels like, again, you're starting your second test as though it's the first test of the series. Feel in really good shape. Obviously missing Joshy's, a shame for this one, but he'll be right for the next one, hopefully. But, for Starkey and I, who bowled quite a bit, and Nath, we feel in great shape for this one.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Pat, Gail was here yesterday. Since Indians are not very used to playing with day-night test cricket, and some of the batters have faced issues with spotting the ball from the bowler's hand, and you guys have played 12 test matches, India have played just 4. Do you see that as kind of an advantage that India don't play day-night test matches enough?
Look, hard to say. Some of our guys have played a lot. Some of them have not played, too much pink balls. I think there is a little bit of getting used to, but that's what the last few days have been about, trying to get your eye back trained. So I don't see a huge kind of shift from red ball cricket to pink ball cricket.
Pat, just your own bowling for the test, just following your self-assessment of it, anything you want to do different back for the test?
It wasn't too. It was reasonably happy with how I bowled. Felt like it came out all right. Obviously second innings when you're behind the game, you're chasing a little bit more. So I tried a few more things than it probably would if the game was a little bit closer. But overall, pretty happy with the rhythm. Always review. There's probably one or two things that I might do slightly differently, but as a whole, pretty happy.
Rainbow? Peter Wilson, Scott Boland played the test. What does you expect him to bring, and what is it about the conditions and circumstances that make it?
Traditionally here, there's normally a little bit of nip, which is obviously suits Scotty quite well. All last summer, kind of was geared up to go, and no one fell over, so it feels like it's been quite a while. Obviously had a good little hit out in Canberra a couple of days ago as well, so his prep's been really good. He's happy with how it's coming out and his rhythm. But as a captain, it's pretty awesome for someone like Scotty to come straight in. He can bowl huge amount of overs if you need. Super consistent. He's performed at this level, so he looks ready to go.
A couple more here, folks. Sam?
Hey, Pat, you've been able to get through the overs that you hope to, and you hope to out of the field. Will you turn to Marnus's pace bowling again, or is that something that all frontline bowlers are trying to pick up?
Look, potentially. I'd say probably more likely you turn into the fast bowlers a bit more. Obviously in Perth, Joshy was getting a little bit sore as well towards the end, so there's a bit of preservation there. Whereas, this test, everyone's fit and firing. So if that remains the case, as a general rule, you try and rely on your 4 main guys.
What's the latest with Hazlewood and his injury? Like, when you guys get the win of that, and also, is he more realistic sort of Melbourne onwards, or is he a chance of getting back?
Pretty confident for Brisbane. He had a good bowl yesterday, only like 3 quarters, maybe a bit more than that, but went beautifully. So got wind of it. Can't even remember the days, but probably day 3, kind of towards the end there. So he bowled once or twice more on it, but then kind of thought, okay, it's probably enough. And it's probably the right call in hindsight. I think in previous years where he's kept bowling, it's probably turned that 1 week injury into a 3 or 4 or 5 week injury. Whereas this year seems a little bit different, and he's really confident for Gava.
Last one up, thank you.
Pat, Australia has got a phenomenal record at Adelaide Oval, and the same was the case in Perth, but they were humble in Perth. India, just before coming to Australia, they were humble in their own backyard. Do you think that in modern cricket, the home advantage is slightly overrated?
Look, it's hard to know. For us, we played a lot in India in all formats, and I know India come out here, and even if it's not test matches, this feels like there's a ODI series or something out here every year. So perhaps they're not as foreign as they used to be conditions. I think modern day players are very adaptable as well. You've got to learn to play all around the world, and you can adapt pretty quickly. So probably can't speak for years and years ago, but it feels like there's certainly home advantages, but maybe not super pronounced.
Great. Thanks, everyone. Thank you.